So, in those various roles that you have, being on the board of Scottish Enterprise, amongst others, you've got a really interesting bird's eye view of the ecosystem as a whole, profit-making businesses, social enterprise, the whole thing. How has this year been in terms of business from your viewpoint?
So, if I would say thank you for that introduction. Yes, we could have that, and I'm sure we do. And it's good time that we are having these on a public forum. But I've enjoyed this evening, all the speakers and the resilience and the motivation and passion in all the 5 speakers that we have seen. And obviously, Startup Grind team is fantastic, and all the attendees. So I would say that's a credit to Scotland's ecosystem and the desire and the capability that is there, as well as the community feeling which is coming along loud and strong today. So in terms of bird's eye view that you're talking about, obviously this year has been like no other year. First and foremost, I would say if we have to thank is like it has shown us the health and care, the social care staff has done tremendous job across, kept the system running, kept people healthy. We are sitting here this month that there is first vaccine already in the market approved and people have started getting vaccination. So there is another positive ending year, even though we started the year on a doomed note. And this has been wearing my life sciences hat, I would say. To some extent, that is a social impact and a social good because of more than a 10 years worth being done in less than 10 months. And that's a quadruple helix of academia, private sector, public sector, charitable sector, and citizens all coming together and working round the clock. And this is going to have not only the health impact, but it's the economic impact and the community impact that is going to be on the world. From the point of Scotland's resilience, tremendous. In terms of everybody was hit. I think March was people were baffled. What has hit them? Nobody was prepared, and it is pandemic. I shouldn't say we shouldn't be prepared, but then this is like the thing that however much we are prepared, we'll always be. But within a month, I think people started to pick up. Community got together, and we've seen. I'm glad to see where we are, and there are so many schemes and so many positive, both from people point of view, government point of view, agency point of view, that came together, and that has brought us in this situation that we are sitting here and talking.
Absolutely. My dishwasher's just gone off, so I'm just going to stop it. So I'm going to ask you a question very quickly in terms of ecosystem and collaboration. Have you seen that in terms of ecosystem partners coming together to just get things done at pace?
I would say, if anything, was a speed was seen that has been seen in this particular time at the max, because both from the point of view of government, they have pulled together, and that we can see even however people's politics go in whichever directions. But from, as Joy was saying, in terms of furlough schemes, in terms of support scheme, even in Scotland, from Scottish Enterprises Fund, we have said sort of hardship funds, pivotal fund, even for startups, because initially there was this thing that there's nothing for early stage startup. The British Bank, Business Bank's schemes didn't fit us. The loans didn't suit Scotland because the funding and investment system were. So eventually we did 29 million worth and 34 million worth of thing. It has benefited 90 companies to bridge that gap between raising investment and becoming successful. And all the startup community came together, and the innovation adoption rate, I wouldn't repeat what has been said, like several years innovation, but that is the truth. So ecosystem has gelled together, people have adopted, events stopped. And then within 2 months, companies like we are talking about, Hey Summit, Future, they started bringing in and Remo example. And I think that I would credit it here, one of the best video socializing platform that I have seen it. So credit to them. Similar type of thing, even though we are separate, we feel. So I think I would say social enterprises side of thing, and then community feeling in terms of people. I think we have never cared about each other as much as we are caring, and I'm glad to see, because that's part of my fabric, my DNA. But it's coming across even in general and wider, people asking about neighbors, asking about your elderly, caring for others, and asking people, are you okay? That should be a normal human thing, but it was never told before people came onto Zoom to say, don't start chat with your staff. Ask them first, how are you? Why wouldn't you do that in a normal office scenario? But that was
It's
the
so
work
funny
culture.
that such a flippant check-in has become, you know, the biggest question you can ask someone, like how are you? And that is, you know, that real positive meeting of someone and that genuine inquiry into how their life is something that I really hope we keep. Is there anything else that you're really positively optimistic about as we close off this year and start again?
I am very, very keen and positive about the kindness that people have learned. I think that is one word that's not accredited enough, but people have become much kinder to each other, whether it's a personal front or a professional front. Leaders have realized the value of having those ties, and we've become more human. Even though we are human and we are saying we are worried of robots, but I think we were becoming one because we were only interested in the bottom line and the balance sheets. But that is one thing I would definitely like to keep, besides all the adoption and the remote working. But another thing it has taught us is less materialistic. We can survive on very little. And all the dresses and the shoes and the bags, we love it, but it's all sitting in the cupboard somewhere. We are not needing it. Thinking about community, I think that feeling. But one thing that has come to light, which we haven't talked, and Joy mentioned it, is very close to my heart, is inequality. It has come to front, and I hope the voices, that one thing that has shown this year is that we cannot now choose to stand quieter. If we have to do something, we have to bring it to the front. We have to raise our voice, because world is interconnected. If one part is thriving, another one is not. COVID has shown us all health is connected, and that I will close on to, because the other big challenge is COP26 and climate challenge. And we have to think for a prosperous society, not in terms of wealth, money, but in terms of a thriving planet of people's health and well-being, and inclusion, where we bring everybody feels valued rather than just everybody there, not a tokenistic term. You value me for who I am and what I bring to the table, rather than just how I look or where I come from.
Excellent comments, and absolutely, the seeds have been sown for those properly inclusive conversations, and definitely on the climate change thing. I mean, for goodness sake, if you think a virus can do this to us in a year, wait to see what happens when your whole planet turns against you. We don't have another chance to get this right.
Yeah, California fire showed you that America could be the world's biggest and richest country. You cannot control the nature when the nature is at its worst, and simply the tornadoes. So I think we need to learn our lesson. Smaller things out of our control are teaching us that there something bigger is at play here. So we need to prepare our workforce, prepare our people, prepare mentality and investment, which we have not turned. There are a lot of positives in there, but that again, what Alison was talking about in terms of how diverse or people of color or women are not getting anything, less than 1%. We should be hanging our head in shame, but there we go. So we have to work for it. Hence we are here shouting for it, and we need to make more noises.